Here I am in a supermarket. I'm buying some milk. 2 bottles of milk. Do you know what this is? It's cheese. All sorts of cheese. Cheese is made from milk. Cheese is milk made hard enough to eat. To make cheese, you need milk. Milk comes from cows. These cows are giving us their milk. They're being milked. They like being milked. It doesn't hurt them. The cow's milk is warm and has to be cooled by this machine. Lots of people drink milk, but milk can also be made into food to eat. We are going to watch this milk being made into cheese. The milk goes into a big bath. It takes a long time to fill. The bath has a special name. It's called a vat, a cheese vat. This is where the milk is turned into cheese. In the vat, the milk is heated slowly, and the big paddles are switched on to stir the milk evenly. Something is poured into the milk to start the cheese making. It's called a starter. A starter has an important job to do. It starts to turn the milk into cheese. It takes 4 hours to turn milk into cheese. The paddles stir the starter evenly into the milk. Milk is still pouring into the vat. The vat will soon be full. This thermometer will tell us how hot the milk is. When it's hot enough, something else will be poured in. This is rennet. It looks a bit like water. The paddles mix the milk and rennet together. Rennet changes the milk. It makes the milk thicker. It turns it into junket. The cheesemaker must have very clean hands because he tests the junket with his finger. When it's thick enough, the cheesemaker cuts the junket with a special knife called a cheese knife. A cheese knife has lots of long, sharp blades that cut through the curds. Junket is made up of curds and whey. Do you know the nursery rhyme about Little Miss Muffet? Little Miss Muffet sat on her tuffet, eating her curds and whey. This is what Miss Muffet was eating. She was eating junket, or curds and whey. Curds are the thick part of junket, and whey is the liquid. It's rather like water. The cheesemaker cuts the curds until they are as small as possible. He uses several different cheese knives to help break them up. When the curds are small enough, they float on the whey. If you look closely, you can see the curds floating on the whey. The curds and whey stay in the hot vat for an hour until they are cooked. Only the curds are needed to make cheese, so now the curds and whey must be separated. They are pumped out of the cheese vat into another big container. This sieve separates the curds from the whey. There are lots and lots of curds, but they don't look like cheese yet, do they? The whey won't be wasted. It will be used for feeding cows and pigs. There are so many curds, they soon fill the vat, and the whey drains off through the sieve. The curds have to be dried to become cheese. The cheesemaker cuts and turns them many times to help them to dry. There are lots of different kinds of cheese. These curds will make cheddar cheese. When all the whey has gone, the curds look like rubber. They don't look like milk now, do they? But the blocks of curd are still not cheese. They need to have some salt added. This machine cuts the blocks into little pieces and mixes them with salt. It's like a mincing machine. It's mincing the hard block of curd into small pieces. The hard curd goes in at the top with the salt and comes out at the bottom in small pieces. Now it's almost finished. Last of all, the little pieces of cheese are packed tightly into a tin. This tin is called a cheese mold. It's lined with material called cheesecloth to keep the cheese clean. The mold is filled as tightly as possible, and a lid is put on. The molds full of cheese are put into a press. The press squashes the molds. As the wheel of the press turns, the molds are squeezed. The little pieces of cheese are pressed together again, and the last of the whey runs out. Soon the cheese in these tins will be ready to cut up and sell. See how many kinds of cheese